Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Shatarshata Shishimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasani Gaura Bhaktavrinda ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mayapur Dham ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai, Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Yamuna Maya ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Transcendental Prasadam Distribution ki jai, Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jaya mudirayet nashta praeshva badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So Hare Krishna everyone, we're reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam. I believe should be count to 5, chapter 10, verse 9. I will read the verse and then word for word. Brahmana uvacha tvayoditam vyaktam avipralabdham bhartur samesya dyadivira bharaham gantur yadisyad adigamyam advam piveti rashau navidam pravadaham. No. Do you want? We can. Yeah, we can do. Brahmana vacha tvayoditam vyaktam avipralabdham Bhartur samesya dyadivira bharaham Gantur yadisyat adigamyam advam Piveti rashau navidham pravadaham. Prabhus. Brahmana uvacha Tvayoditam vyaktam avipralabdham. Vartur samesyat yadivira varaham. Gantur yadisyat adigamyam advam. Piveti rasho navidam pravadaham. Brahmana vacham. Tvayoditam vyaktam avipralabdham. Vartur samesyat yadivira baraham. Gantur yadisyat aigamyam advam. Piveti rasho navidam arvadaham. Matajis. Brahma vacham. Tvayoditam vyaktam avipralabdham. Vartur samisyat yadivira baraham. Gantur yadisyat adigamya madvam. Piveti rasho navidam pravadaham. Brahmana uvacha. The learned Brahmana Jadabharata spoke. Tvayam Bayum Uditam explained. Vyaktam very clearly. Avi Pralabdham without contradictions. Bhartur of the bearer the body. Saham that. Me mine. Syat it would have been. Yadi if. Vira O great hero. Maharaja Rahugana. Baraham a load. Gantuhu of the mover also the body. Yadi if. Syat it had been. Adigamyam the object to be obtained. Adva the path. Piva very stout and strong. Iti thus. Rashau in the body. Na not. Vidam of the self-realized persons. Pravadaha subject matter for discussion. Translation. The great Brahmana Jadabharata said, "My dear king and hero, whatever you have spoken sarcastically is certainly true." Okay. Actually, yeah, I can just hear the translation. It's not very. I'll try again. The great Brahmana Jadabharata said, "My dear king and hero, whatever you have spoken sarcastically is certainly true. Actually, these are not simply words of chastisement, for the body is the carrier. The load carried by the body does not belong to me, for I am the spirit soul. There is no contradiction in your statements, because I am different from the body. I am not the carrier of the palanquin. The body is the carrier. Certainly, as you have hinted, I have not labored carrying the palanquin, for I am detached from the body. You have said that I am not stout and strong, and these words are befitting a person who does not know the distinction between the body and the soul. The body may be fat or thin, but no learned man would say such things of the spirit soul. As far as the spirit soul is concerned, I am neither fat nor skinny. Therefore you are correct when you say that I am not very stout. Also, if the object of this journey and the path leading there were mine, there would be many troubles for me. But because they relate not to me but to my body, there is no trouble at all. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that one who is advanced in the spiritual knowledge is not disturbed by the pains and pleasures of the material body. The material body is completely separate from the spirit soul, and the pains and pleasures of the body are superfluous. The practice of austerity and penance is meant for understanding the distinction between the body and the soul, and how the soul can be unaffected by the pleasures and pains of the body. Jadabharata was actually situated on a platform of self-realization. He was completely aloof from the bodily conception. Therefore, he immediately took this position and convinced the king that whatever contradictory things the king had said about his body did not actually apply to him as a spirit soul. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Litamina Tasmai Shri Gurei Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhishcha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasani Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. I will read the translation again because it's very nice. The great Brahmana Jadabharata said, "My dear king and hero, whatever you have spoken sarcastically is certainly true. Actually, these are not simply words of chastisement, for the body is the carrier. The load carried by the body does not belong to me, for I am the spirit soul. There is no contradiction in your statements because I am different from the body. I am not the carrier of the palanquin, the body is the carrier. Certainly, as you have hinted, I am not labored carrying the palanquin, for I am detached from the body. You have said that I am not stout and strong, and these words are befitting a person who does not know the distinction between the body and the soul. The body may be fat or thin, but no learned man would say such things of the spirit soul. As far as the spirit soul is concerned, I am neither fat nor skinny. Therefore you are correct when you say that I am not very stout. Also, if the object of this journey and the path leading there were mine, there would be many troubles for me. But because they relate not to me but to my body, there is no trouble at all." So when we read this verse and the story of Maharaja Jadabharata, this particular verse, I felt like what could we speak about in general? Because it speaks about detachment of Jadabharata, and it's complete renunciation and understanding of self-realization, and this is what we are all striving for, obviously. But the level or the degree to which Jadabharata is elevated is sometimes may seem so far away from where we actually are at the moment. So therefore, how can we make it real for us? How can we make it practical for us to understand? And how can we actually see the path towards that platform where Jadabharata at the moment is. And of course, the fundamentals of this knowledge is Sambandha Jnana. Always Srila Prabhupada speaks about this in most of his classes, most of his presentations, that we are not this body. And Jadabharata here is a perfect example of this realization of this knowledge. He is not this body. But for us, how can we realize this, that we are not this body? I mean, logically we understand this, that we are not this body, we're the spirit soul. But how can we come to this platform of realization? Because as soon as we experience some pains in this world, it could be the pains of the body, just as Jadabharata experienced here, or maybe not even the pains of the body in his situation, but the pains of the ego when someone chastises you or someone says something which is a little bit provoking to us, immediately we feel like pain, and we feel like we want to say something back normally. So we may not be there fully 100% of the time, although it's also fair to say that some of us may realize that coming to the Krishna consciousness, these things become a bit easier for us, to tolerate other people's behavior, and but sometimes it still comes out. So if we speak about Sambandha Jnana, Sambandha Jnana is it may seem like a very basic and fundamental topic, but at the same time it's very deep, because from our Sambandha, our understanding of relationships, depends our practice, the quality of our practice, the quality of our sadhana, and the quality of our realizations that we get based on this sadhana. Because if we're staying only on the superfluous levels of our sadhana and our understanding of Sambandha Jnana, then our practice will be the same, and then our realization will be the same. So how can we go deeper into understanding the Sambandha Jnana? And of course, there's 3 elements to Sambandha Jnana. Actually, there are 6, but the 3 fundamental relationships between the soul, the Ishvara, the Supreme, and the material nature, the Prakriti. And understanding here, Srila Prabhupada says in the commentary that Jadabharata was ideal representative of the person who has realized. He says Jadabharata was actually situated on the platform of self-realization. So it means that he realized this aspect of Sambandha Jnana in fullness, in completeness. And therefore he was not disturbed by what the Rahugana, the King Rahugana, told him. So understanding ourselves as spirit is also understanding that we come from the spiritual source. And sadhana, when we practice sadhana, this should be our meditation, that we are spiritual, and our source, our goal, our sadhya, is also spiritual. And also, if we cultivate the proper understanding of how should we practice sadhana, we will understand that we should be meditating on the sadhya, on the goal of our sadhana. Otherwise, the sadhana will not be effective. It will not practically work as it should be working. It will be unconscious. We should know where we're going, why are we doing our sadhana, what is the purpose of our sadhana. And the purpose is also spiritual. The purpose is Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But before that, it is said that actually on the level of sadhana, our sadhya should be bhava, attaining the emotions or feelings towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we really understand the Sambandha Jnana, then we will be praying for Krishna sincerely within the heart. Then the transformation actually can take place. Otherwise it will not be very effective. And Srila Prabhupada gives us the recipe here of how can we get to this platform. He says, the practice of austerity and penance is meant for understanding the distinction between the body and the soul, and how the soul can be unaffected by the pleasures and pains of the body. So, austerity. Srila Prabhupada speaks about tapasya. What does he say about tapasya? Anyone remembers? Famous expression of Srila Prabhupada. Human life is meant for tapasya. So, tapasya, yes. Tapasya is our path towards self-realization, and Srila Prabhupada gives us the key here. And if we try to analyze, so what is tapasya? I mean, first, of course, it's voluntary accepting some inconvenience for the pleasure of Krishna. So when we voluntarily accept something, and then at the same time we meditate on Krishna for his pleasure. So this is our sadhana. So this is the practice. Tapasya, we practice tapasya with the understanding that we are doing it for Krishna's pleasure. And if we analyze different paths of yoga, we will see that in all of them there is some element of tapasya involved. If we see, for example, Hatha Yoga, there's asanas there's yama, niyama, all these things. Is the idea behind them is that we take something which is inconvenient voluntarily, and voluntarily also means based on the level of inspiration that we have in order to partake in some tapasya. That is important aspect, because if we're not inspired to take a tapasya, that will be a little bit like poison sometimes for us. We need to be inspired. Yes, I want to do this. I know why am I doing this. If I don't know why I'm doing this, if I am not inspired to take any tapasya, then it can dry our spiritual life. So in Hatha Yoga there is some tapasya. They're sitting in static postures, and it brings a lot of inconvenience. But what are they doing in this moment? They're meditating on God. Yeah, the idea is that you dedicate your activity, your inconvenience, for the pleasure of Krishna. And you try to remember him during this practice. And this is where the actual transformation happens. That's where a person is able to realize that it is possible to transcend the bodily inconveniences to come to the next levels. And this transition from one level of inconvenience to the next level of so-called, liberation of these inconveniences, or you just feel like, okay, I can surpass this, So this is important aspect of any sadhana, of any tapasya, is that you're able to transcend these things. Otherwise, you will not get any realization, and you will stay on the superficial level, or we will stay on the superficial level. So, and as soon as you get that realization that it is possible to come to the next level, and then to the next level, and then to the next level, while being in the mood of surrender to Krishna, remembering about Krishna, then deeper realization, deeper understandings come to us, and this keeps us in Krishna consciousness. This keeps us going. These kind of realizations. In karma yoga, also, if we try to understand what are they doing? Like, for example, for Arjuna, he had to, fulfill his duty, which was very difficult to fulfill, but it was a big inconvenience for him. It was, even not take the battle maybe of the Kurukshetra, but in general the Kshatriyas, they dedicate their actions. They're dedicated, or the kings, for example, they have to sometimes punish someone. They have to. And they don't want to punish people. Maybe they are full of compassion to this person, but just because of that, they take that tapasya, remembering about Krishna, that punishment is for the benefit of the person or for the benefit of other people who may be affected by the misdeeds of this person. So, yes, and for the king, they also have to persevere many things, like some other kingdoms may want to attack them, so they have to persevere this somehow. So this is tapasya, and they're doing it for Krishna also as their duty. They take care about their dependents also for Krishna. Sometimes it's very difficult. Srila Prabhupada said that he spent gallons and gallons of blood in order to understand how he can engage us in devotional service. He was a leader for us. For the senior disciples, and therefore for the king, it's also a very big tapasya sometimes to find ways how to engage his dependents. In Bhakti Yoga, what kind of tapasya do we have in Bhakti Yoga? Chanting the holy name. Yes. What else do we have? Yeah, following 4 regulative principles. Yes. And correct, fasting on Ekadashi, yes. Get up early in the morning, yes. Stay alive, yes. That's actually a very good point. Persevering and continuing our practice despite the everything that is going on outside. Staying alive. Being able to still continue chanting our rounds and following 4 regs, despite all odds, as they say. So this is tapasya also. Anything else? Yeah.
Going on Sankirtan preaching.
Yes, that's huge tapasya as well. Mataji, you want to say something?
Sometimes also the company of others, because the other principle you can choose follow many things which has been said. You can choose to think, am I able to do it? Okay, am I able to do it? I will do it. So when you think yourself able to do, it's already a less and small capacity.
Mm-hmm.
When you are confronted every day with other characters, you never know, as you said at the beginning, which defect they will see in me, or how am I going to speak to this person, or how this person is going to speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Prabhupada wanted us to be together, because it's not easy, but it's the only way to really see what is wrong or right in us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to be with others can also be tapasya. Yeah, it's a very good point as well. Yeah, and also cooperating with others, right? Yes, this is the greatest tapasya, cooperation, and we should see it like that as well. Because if we don't see it like that, then we will be on the level of reacting. We will not see it as yagya. We are actually doing it for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, for the pleasure of Krishna. We are tolerating others' misbehaviors. We are doing this all for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, if we just see it's something which is disconnected from the whole idea of Krishna consciousness, that he told something to me and I'm not happy with this, or he did something and I'm really not happy. And if we don't remember why we are doing all this and why we could tolerate the person, or why we could try and maybe with a level of compassion, say something in a very nice way to the person, then it will be very difficult. So we should see this also as tapasya, this cooperation and living with others. It's a tapasya, it's part of our sadhana. It's a part of our practice to build the community, to associate with each other. It's a big tapasya. It's huge tapasya. So yes, in Bhakti Yoga, and Srila Prabhupada said, and of course, cleanliness of the body, all these things, as Prabhu said, also Ekadashi, we take care. Sometimes devotees go around Govardhan Hill, they take up this tapasya for the pleasure of Shri Govardhan, Shri Krishna. And also there's a level of tapasya for the body in this practice as well. And what is the principle behind all of this is that as mentioned, in all of these types of practices, there is a level of discomfort. And while persevering this discomfort, we try to learn to focus on Krishna. This is the most crucial element in all of this. In all of this discomfort that we're trying to persevere, we need to remember that this is for the pleasure of Krishna. And this makes our practice real. Because otherwise it can become like I think it's in psychology, Freud's this idea of a sublimation of energy and things like that. We just we just persevere and persevere and persevere and persevere, but we don't know why we're doing this. Really, we forgot completely. And at some point it's like a balloon; it pops, and we just say, I'm fed up with this, goodbye. But if you know why you're doing this is when the energy of this accumulation of this sublimation, so to speak, it transforms. It, our consciousness raises towards higher levels, and otherwise it doesn't raise. So this is the principle behind everything. We need to remember Krishna and surrender to Him in the practice in the mood of surrendering, and that's when the consciousness levels are actually getting higher. Yes, only by the mercy of Krishna, only in the mood of surrender. Without this, there's no chance we could get taste of Krishna's mercy, actually. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, "O best," this is Bhagavad Gita 2:15. "O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation." So this is what Krishna wants from us. He says, if you try to follow this path, you will be eligible for liberation. This will help you on your path. And what we see with King Jadabharata or Maharaj Jadabharata is that he was already on that platform. But we need to understand that he came to this platform. Sometimes, and it took him a few lives actually to be on that platform. He had a few lives before that, many lives, but we know only about a few maybe. So if we don't want to stay on the surface levels of Krishna consciousness, this is required from us. Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Yes, and if we understand that it takes some time to get there, we will also see our practice a little bit more realistic. We get a little bit more patience with our practice. And if we don't want to stay in the surface levels of Krishna consciousness, this is what is required from us, to practice this idea and to understand this process very clearly. What is not required from us, but how this process works, and even surrendering just as an experiment, and doing this kind of practice just because of an experiment, we can do that. I mean, otherwise, what is there to lose? There's nothing to lose. We could we're going to lose everything anyway. So sometimes we think I'm just going to practice tapasya. I'm not going to, engage in this activity, that activity. I'm losing out. I'm losing out big time right now. But we're going to lose everything anyway. So why not try now? Why not experiment to practice tapasya, to practice Krishna consciousness in this mood, and try to get some realization out of that. And what is the difficulty? Why can't we do that? Sometimes lack of faith and lack of understanding of this whole process, and even from the level of intellectual understanding, we can already try to practice this, and of course, association with bona fide devotees and bona fide spiritual master can help us to understand clearly how to practice properly. So, coming back to this idea of what Krishna speaks about in Bhagavad Gita 2.15, that a person is eligible for liberation if he practices like that. So, but how to actually remember about this when our parts of the body get hurt, we get sick. The older we become, the more pain we have in our body, the more, all these parts of the body, the more you learn anatomy, the more you understand what your body consists of. Before, in the childhood, you don't care about these things, but then you start to realize, oh, I have a liver, oh, I have this in my body, oh, I have that, just because it starts hurting, and yes, so it may be quite difficult to realize this when the body hurts, when our ego or when our mind hurts. It's so difficult to transcend, to understand this, to remember this. When our heart hurts, when we lose someone, or we lose, the object of our love, it's so difficult to transcend. Many people, there's some statistics that this is one of the reasons why even devotees are leaving Krishna consciousness, because they lost someone in their lives they really got attached to. Of course, there are others like pains of the body as well and things like that. So it's very difficult to remember about this, but it is not impossible. That's the whole point of what Srila Prabhupada tries to tell us, is that even Srila Prabhupada was a great example of this, is that if you remember, like when he was leaving his body, doctors came, I think from Delhi or from somewhere, now and then to him to understand his condition, if anything could be done. And when he saw the condition of how Srila Prabhupada was, he said, this person should not have been alive many months ago. With this conditioning of his body right now, he shouldn't be alive. Other people would be already lose their body already, long time ago. But somehow Srila Prabhupada stayed, and he stayed conscious. Moreover, when this doctor came to him, what Srila Prabhupada do? He asked him, "How are you? How are you doing? How is your family?" He started asking him about his life. Whereas, doctor came to see him, he's on his deathbed already. But Srila Prabhupada is asking, "How is you? How is your life? Are you okay? Everything good in your Krishna consciousness?" This is complete transcendence, So why does it hurt? Why does it hurt? Because we're associating with our body, we're associating our mind with our ego, with our intellect. That's why it hurts. An example, like if we are driving on a taxi, and the taxi driver hits someone's car and gets a huge dent in his car. Do we really care about this? No, because it's not our car. We just come out of the taxi and go somewhere else. Yeah? Go to the next taxi. We don't care. But if the same thing happens with our car, Wow, that's a huge thing, yeah? We get a dent in the car, oh my God. And if our car is not, doesn't have any security or insurance, this gets even harder. Why? Because we identify, we project our ego to that car. We think it's my car, you know? That's the whole difference, how we get attached, how we project. And the same things happens with the body, the same principle. The same principle happens with our mind, with our ego. When someone tells something to us, it really hurts. I should say something else to this person. I should say something back. But yeah, so in these moments, the triggering happens. The triggering, this aspect that we're getting triggered. So what is this triggering? Have you ever felt like irritation or being offended or some resentment because of someone's words or actions towards us? Have you ever felt this, like, oh my God, this is really too much now? And how do we usually react to that? You know, what is our reaction? Yes?
Usually find faults in them.
Yeah, we try to find faults in others as well. Interesting. Yeah. To say, you also have this, but you have also that on top. What else? How do we react? You know? Yes, Antage?
Я хотела сказать, что мне в ходе жизни приходилось очень много общаться с кармическими людьми, да, и очень много приходилось общаться с людьми, которые находятся в невежестве. Если им отвечать мягко и вежливо, они воспринимают это как слабость. Сейчас, чтобы кто если перевела. Она не слышит, да?
No, I don't think she hears. Mataji, I will translate what Mataji said. So basically, Mataji is saying that she has had a lot to do in her life while associating with the people in the lower modes of nature, and when you try to tell them something softly, they usually, how do you say, misunderstand your politeness and try to use that for their benefits.
Когда я нашла способ, как общаться с этими людьми, если он меня хамит, я отвечаю ему на поверхности, так как он поймет это на его языке, чтобы он это понял, адекватно, чтобы он чувствовал во мне силу. Но внутри я сохраняю состояние нейтрально-позитивного к нему. То есть не испытываю внутри, то есть все мое внимание направлено на то, чтобы внутри не испытывать негатива к нему.
Okay. So, and she found the key towards how to behave with such people is to react maybe not so softly, but with the element of compassion towards that person, with the element of I don't know if I would be right to say with an element of love. And then, this helped to her. Yes, but if we're going one step back towards, how do we tend to react? Of course, this is already the level, next step. Yes?
We are defending.
Yes, we're defending. Very good point. Why are we defending?
Yeah, because to defend our false ego, there is a tendency, eating, sleeping, waking, and defending the conditioned soul.
Yeah.
Not to lose our false identity, maybe.
Interesting. We don't want to lose our false identity. That's why we're defending. We feel sometimes that we are attacked, isn't it? Like someone is attacking us, saying something, even something which we didn't do. And if someone is attacking us, saying, "Oh, you did this," and we know we didn't do that, but still we want to say something back because we feel like we're being attacked, and we may feel like, this person is maybe discrediting me, maybe in front of others, maybe he's attacking my reputation, even though I know I didn't do that, So we feel we're being attacked, and that's why we try to defend ourselves, right? No? Yes, Mataji?
I think there is this survival instinct in us, either physically or psychologically. We preserve ourselves.
Yes, survival instinct. We try to preserve ourselves, yeah.
And lion or elder,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel also, of course, the accent, sometimes the accent, so
Mm.
But by Krishna's mercy, I also try to add a prayer to Prabhupada that we need to start to go over this,
Mm.
not to take not to take it seriously.
You're practicing tapasya.
I think the big shelter is the best.
Yeah.
It's important
Yes.
progress,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual material.
Mm-hmm. Окей. You want to say? Хотите что-то сказать? Коротко.
Получается, что очень важно, это самое главное, понимать, что я не это тело. И это понять очень трудно. И мы вроде бы махаем, да, что мы понимаем. Но в итоге мы как это не берем близко к сердцу.
Prabhu says that apparently it's very important to understand that we are not the body. We seemingly understand that, but it doesn't seem to work sometimes.
Если, допустим, вот сейчас вы меня все знаете, как грунишку. Сейчас я беру, сейчас снимаю ухо, ложу, нос снимаю, все поснимал, оказывается я в опе. А потом я это все обратно одел. То как вы потом будете со мной обращаться? Как грунишку?
Guru Nishka says that if everyone perceives him as Guru Nishka right now, but if he takes off his nose, if he takes off his ear and other elements of his body, and then it will appear that he is actually a gopi, how would you see him then?
Да, и получается, что вы будете уже понимать, что я в мире грунишка, но уже будете разделять.
Yeah. So then you will start to understand that in in this lifetime, in this game, he is Guru Nishka, but then you will start to discriminate already.
Да, и так вся наша родня, все наше окружение. Мы все души с духовного мира, красивые девы. Но мы просто отец, мама, играем роли, и нужно понимать, кто там сидит.
In the same way, every one of us are, and all our parents, all our children, everyone, a family, even of course in the temple also, everyone is spiritual, but we have to discriminate between these things. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Я когда-то прочитала, что вот все клетки тела человека, фактически мы на 80% каждые 3 года обновляется наше тело. То есть наше тело не есть постоянно. Но при этом тело все время новое, а сознание, я при этом никак не меняется. То есть это вот один из аргументов того, что я не тело.
Yes, Mataji said that every certain amount of years, I think 7 years, all the cells of the body, they get renewed. Therefore, it's apparently that we are not this body. So, what are the other elements why we get triggered? And we are already running out of time, but I'll just share a few things if you don't mind still. Do we have 5 more minutes? Is that okay? So, of course, ego, when our self-image is challenged. So, when they challenge us, oh, you're a bad person, or, you're that, you're this. False ego, false understanding, like Jadabar, this Rahugana said to this Jadabharata, he said, he was very stout, he was very strong, Jadabharata's body was very strong, but he said, it appears that as if you are thin and not worthy, So he's trying to attack his identity, his body, his false identification. Then the next thing is expectations. When people or the world behave differently than we think they should, we think that this person should be doing puja now, or he should be following all 4 regulative principles to the 100%. This is our expectation towards others. Or he should be reading Bhagavad Gita every day, or he should be cooking at this particular time of the day to me, and I should eat that food at this particular time. So then we get triggered. Oh, he didn't do that. Oh, I should say something. She's not behaving, Also, the other element is past pain as well. When we have some undigested past experiences, traumas from the childhood maybe, or something like that, they can heavily trigger us in different situations as well. There can be so many examples of that, like how maybe someone treated us in the childhood and we really didn't know how to react to this, and we felt very vulnerable. And when this situation comes now in this life, when we are grown up, then we start to really remember the situation and also act triggered and act like attacking others. And sometimes it's not obvious, but this is very deep. And the practice of Krishna consciousness is actually consists of purifying these past samskaras that we have in our past life, in our many, many different lives that we have. And of course, like Prabhu said, perceiving a threat. So when we feel threatened by others, then we get triggered. So then the question is, why don't the saints get triggered? And Guru Nishta also already kindly answered this to us, because they understand that they are not this body. When someone is attacking them, they understand that they are not attacking them as a spirit soul, So Jadabharata was carrying a palanquin, but he was moving carefully to avoid, stepping on ants. So, and this triggered Jadabharata. It's Srila Prabhupada said in one of the previous comments that Jadabharata was influenced by the mode of passion, and slightly influenced by the mode of passion in this particular case. Why? Because he thought he is a king, and the king's duty is to make sure that others behave properly, And if someone is not behaving, I, as a king, as my false identification as a king, I will try to punish this person. So, and when we, don't remember that after all these roles, which Guru Nishta Prabhu kindly shared with us, we are also the spirit soul, then we will be triggered heavily. We can be triggered. So, what was Jadabharata's response? No reaction, no defensiveness, no offense taken. He just calmly explained the philosophy to King Rahugana. And why he didn't identify with his body, he didn't see the king's words as a real threat. Even though, if you remember the story of Jadabharata before, he was threatened to be killed by these dacoits in this temple of Kali. They almost killed him, but he didn't care. He completely understood, this is not my body. I'm not this body. He understood the nature of this world. People criticize, but it doesn't change his essence, People may criticize me, people may say some discriminating things or discrediting, I meant to say, things to me, but I am not this body, I am the spirit soul, I am with Krishna. So he was focused on these higher values, and therefore he was not concerned about this. So the saints don't get triggered because they don't see the words as a danger. For them this is not very relevant. They understand that criticism also is a very important point. They understand that this criticism comes from other people's state of consciousness and not reality. And with this understanding, they not only don't get triggered, but they become compassionate to the person, because they see this person is behaving towards to me as a not very good person, but why is he doing that? He must have had some pain in his life. He must have had some trauma in his life. He must have had some really tough times in his life. And then he sees it like that already, his compassion gets revealed towards that person. So this is very important to understand when people are provoking us. And Prabhupada said, the greatness of a person is defined by how he can tolerate the provoking situations, So this is the level of consciousness. If you can tolerate, then you're on that level already. So to see that people are suffering really, and to have that element of, I think Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj once said that there was some thief in the Bhaktivedanta manor. He was stealing other people's stuff. And, the first reaction you may feel like, oh, how bad he is, how can you steal, especially from devotees? How can you, it's, this judgment immediately comes, to you, and you start judging, and you start maybe provoking, attacking, and you get provoked because maybe you're responsible for the order in the Bhaktivedanta manor or in the temple, and you get triggered. No, he shouldn't be doing like this. We should, call the police immediately. And of course, Maharaj said, it's fine to call the police. This is what you should do. That is totally fine. But at the same time, like Mataji already shared, do it with an element of compassion. Try to understand, why is he doing that? Maybe he's not having enough money in his life. Maybe he's suffering very hard. Maybe sometimes people take other people's belongings because they want to help their family members or something like that. You never know. You never know what's going on in other people's lives. So coming from that platform, that's the next level already, not to get triggered. And so how to stop getting triggered? This is the last thing which I'll mention. I know we're out of time, but this is very last. First step, is it interesting or?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So how to not get triggered? There's 4 steps. First step is awareness. Very important. First step is awareness that I'm feeling this emotion of irritation towards something, towards some situation, towards someone attacking me. Becoming aware and saying, I'm feeling this right now. I'm feeling very angry. I'm feeling very, irritated. What exactly is upsetting me in this situation? Speaking out, becoming aware of things. This is the first thing. Second thing, separate emotion from reality. Is this person attacking me personally, or are they reacting based on their own emotions and beliefs? It's very important to understand. So, what is the reality? Why am I really? Do I need to take it personal this time, or is it because of the person having some problems in his or her life? And this is where this element of compassion kicks in. Would they say the same thing if they were calm, if they were not, experiencing all these troubles in their lives? And then the third step is shift to a higher perspective. How would a saint respond to this situation? How would my Gurudev behave? How would Srila Prabhupada behave? If I detach from emotion, what is the wisest response right now? What would be the wisest? And especially for people who have responsibility over others, this is very important, because how we react towards people who are maybe dependent on us is very important, because this can even affect their spiritual life, because how we behave towards others. So it's important how we respond. And then, of course, the fourth step is actual response. To respond from knowledge, from strength, from understanding that I'm trying to respond for the benefit of this situation, of Srila Prabhupada, of the movement. So staying calm, it equals real power. And I can respond wisely and ignore it or turn it into humor even sometimes. So yeah, so the triggers, basically to summarize, the triggers are, these are automatic reactions, these are our instincts, as Mataji already said, this is our instincts, how we react, because we feel threatened. And saints don't get triggered because they don't feel threatened, because they don't associate with the body. And we can stop getting triggered by separating emotions from reality and responding consciously, and of course realizing that we are not this body as a result of this. So thank you for your patience. I hope this was somewhat valuable, and hopefully with time this can bring us to what Srila Prabhupada says here, level of self-realization. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Und machst das Gleiche mit dem. Aber der gehört mir jetzt